What is going on, PGA DFS fans? Thanks for joining me here on the Awesemo YouTube channel. It's one of my short form videos. I am Jason Rouslin, the host of it. This is the top 5 sleepers for the Arnold Palmer Invitational as we check out some of the early week golfers that could be low owned and could be a big spot for GPP contest this week. I want to make sure I just kind of gave a little click to that or a little note. I want to tell you that I say this because ownership changes throughout the week, whether it's line movement in the odds or certain things that we learn about that brings it up or down. So I'm taking this, and it is, as I check the time, about 7:30 on Tuesday morning. It is subject to change. I know a couple of weeks ago, I had Thomas Peters in this video, and then he ended up like 20% owned. That's what can happen throughout the week. This is based on first ownership run. Of course, make sure that you check the latest ownership run. It's always run like Tuesday at 9 o'clock at night. Alex runs it again. So again, part of our great Awesemo Plus package there, which I'll tell you a great way to get a free month in just a little bit. Of course, make sure you like and subscribe to our channel here and leave a few comments on how you guys feel about some of these sleepers that I'm going to jump right into now. As we talk about the first sleeper, what I'm going to try and do is give you a guy in each price section. So let's start off with my guy below 7,000 this week. We're going to talk about Garrick Higgo. $24 on Yahoo and just $6,700 on DraftKings, projected under 5%, well under 5%. This will be his first trip to the Arnold Palmer Invitational. The young man from South Africa did make his Florida swing debut last week at the Honda Classic. It actually looked pretty good for a couple of rounds. Then a couple of late water balls ended up costing him. He ended up coming in 66th, but I watched him play and it looked like his swing was really informed. Just caught a couple of unlucky breaks, which can happen around PGA National. Anybody that watches that course or played it knows that for sure. So I like going back to him here this week. He's got great upside, especially in GPP formats. And we take a look at his strokes gain stats. He's a very streaky putter. Some of his stats or some of his best finishes come when he's putting his best. That typically happens with everybody. But we know that he's probably a better ball striker than what's leading on. Off the tees, ranked 77th this year, 88th on his approaches, 104th around the green, and 101st putting. Again, I think his upside is certainly higher than all of those, but he had some bad starts at the beginning of the season that's kind of weighing his stats down a little bit. So expect those to get better and expect Garrick Higgo to play all 4 rounds here this week. Next guy I want to talk about is coming in as a sleeper because he has not had a good season. He's missed the cut in his last couple events, and that is not like Corey Connors, who's priced at $7,600 on DraftKings this week and just $34 on Yahoo. He's projected at 7.2% ownership, and the way that ownership is breaking out, he's actually one of the lowest projected owned golfers above $7,500 this week. A lot of good pricing from DraftKings, which spreads out the ownership in this strong field. So for Connors coming in as one of the lowest owned and having some pretty solid course history, I like him a lot. Coming in 3rd here last year. Did miss the cut a couple of years ago, so it's a little bit mixed. Like I already mentioned, his most recent form is not that great, missing his last 2 cuts. Coming in 30th the week before that. Did have an 11th place, though, at the Sony Open at a course that he likes to putt on. So kind of sticking with that theme here with Connors, play him where he's been good. So we look at his strokes gain ranks this year. He's ranked 9th off the tee, 51st on the approach. Most people think that's pretty good. But for Connors, who ranked in the top 5 last year, his irons has not been as good. Now, that sometimes does happen over on the West Coast, where he's not as good as he is certainly over here or on Bermuda. So let's take a look and see if that continues. If it does, we may need to stay away from him for a little bit, but I expect it to get better. Lastly, 140th around the green and 68th putting. Again, like I mentioned, he loves putting at Wiley, so those stats may be a little bit better than what we expect. All right, my next golfer that I'm going to talk about here, maybe a bit of a question mark. He's a golfer that all of us know, especially if you've been following PGA DFS for some time, and all of us probably like. He's got a great personality and possibly the best hair on the PGA Tour. Talking about Tommy Fleetwood, who's coming in at $7,900 this week, a full $2,000 cheaper than he was last week, and he's coming in at less ownership than he was last week. So I like those combinations. We dug into his stats a little bit. Price $33 on Yahoo, by the way. Dug into his stats a little bit. And what I liked was, even though he played 2 rounds at the Honda, he gained over 0.75 strokes in every facet, at least at one point. Now, day 1, he was great with his ball striking. And day 2, he was great with his short game. So let's put them all together and have a good week here. I think everybody is certainly cheering for Tommy Fleetwood. but he just hasn't been great. Let's look at his stats from last year and why he wasn't good. He was 145th off the tee. Well, you can be okay with that if you're a top 25 putter. But the problem is Tommy Fleetwood was ranked 136th in strokes gained putting last year. You can't be a bad driver of the golf ball and a bad putter and succeed, probably on many professional golf tours, but certainly not the PGA Tour. So for Fleetwood, we need to see those things flip a little bit. We knew he was decent with his irons, ranked 99th last year, and very good in crafty around the green, ranked 22nd. All right, next guy I want to talk about is Max Homa. He's had a very decent year, and he's had good course history here. 10th and 24th in his last two trips. Priced $35 on Yahoo and $8,300 on DraftKings this week. Projected under 10% owned. Now, as I kind of mentioned with Corey Connors, guys that are over 8,000, Homa is actually projected as the lowest owned there. So we like to look at that, especially a golfer that's coming in off of pretty good form. He was defending champion at the Genesis and came in at top 10. That's pretty solid for Homa. And when we look at his stats, we like what we're seeing. He's 46th off the tee this year, 86 on his approaches. That's fine if he's a good putter. And he's been in the top 50 this year, ranked 41st. He's not great around the green, but certainly seems to play a little bit better around the green on Bermuda, even though he is from LA and grew up on Poa Bent. Seems to play okay here, especially at the Arnold Palmer Invitational. So fire up Max Homa. I like him somewhere around 15 to 20% allocation this week, getting that 2x on the field. All right, the last guy I want to talk about in terms of a sleeper, as I mentioned, I like to try and get somebody from everybody and from every section. However, golfers above 9,000, Will Zalatoris is actually projected as the lowest owned, coming in at 12%. I'm totally fine with that. That seems like a good play. He's certainly warranted or been given the price that he has played up to. He had a top 10 here last year, coming in 10th. So, and he's had decent history. He came in 26th at the Genesis. Before that, he almost won the Farmers Insurance. Had to withdraw from AT&T Pebble because of grabbing COVID. Seems like he's healthy and back from that. When we look at his strokes gained rank from this year, nobody in the professional golf game has been better on their approaches than Will Zalatoris, ranked number 1 on strokes gained on the approach. 12th off the tee. That's pretty solid. You really can't get more solid stats for this golf course. 59 around the green, and yes, he's very bad at short putting, but these greens are the easiest to putt on the PGA Tour, or one of the easiest. So I think that'll help Will Zalatoris this week. All right, that's going to do it here for my top 5 sleepers. In case you missed them or you forgot, let's go 5-1 again. Garrick Higgo, Corey Connors, Tommy Fleetwood, Max Homa, and Will Zalatoris. Let's cover up some housekeeping things just before we get on out of here. Check out our live shows, our PGA DFS strategy show. It is with Ben Raz and Eric Lundquist. And I am making my return permanent to the Live Before Lock show with Ben Raza. Man, we're going to bring it back to when we all started this, Ben and I. We're doing Live Before Lock on Wednesday nights. Before, it was the cool thing to do. And I'm joining him again there for at least the next semi-permanent time. We'll keep you updated on that. Of course, I want to thank Yahoo. I told you guys about a deal we have going on. Well, it is with Yahoo. We partnered with them this PGA DFS season to give you a free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. All you got to do is be a new user, sign up for your first paid contest. Well, make your first deposit, of course, and sign up for your first paid contest. And Yahoo is going to send us over the email that you signed up with. We will email that one with a code for your free month. Now, if you want to check out the projections before Thursday, and your plan is to play in your first PGA DFS contest over on Yahoo on Thursday, send an email to support@awesemo.com, letting them know that you've signed up, and we will get you hooked up with that free month. So until next time, everybody, and next week, where we've got the biggest prizes in all of DFS, $1 million going to first, we'll head that up next week, and we will coach you guys on the best ways to win that. But before we do, let's take down $250,000 this week at the Arnold Palmer Invitational, everybody. Good luck, and we will see you on the other side. Cheers.